Welcome to Youth Empowerment Radio. In today's episode, we have an inspiring lineup for you. First, we'll be speaking with Carie Harrison, the visionary founder at Oak Tree Youth Resources, as she shares her journey and passion for empowering youth. Then, we're honored to be joined by Mathieu, a young leader with lived experience, who will give us firsthand look at resilience, growth, and hope. Stay tuned for a powerful conversation you won't want to miss.
The material and information presented here is provided by lived experience youth and is for general information purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are of those of the guest only and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Youth Move.
Welcome to Youth Empowerment Radio for Homeless Youth Awareness Month. And here today I have Carie Harrison at Oak Tree Youth Resources. Please feel free to introduce yourself, Carie.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Carie. We're in Durango, Colorado, serving Southwest Colorado youth, specifically those in these rural communities all around us. And I'm really excited to be here with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So for the first question I have down today is, what inspired you to start Oak Tree Youth Resources?
You know, having been a foster parent, we joke like by default, because of some young people that needed a place to be, just opened my eyes to other young people in our community that needed support, especially once they went into foster care and aged out. There wasn't as much support available for youth. So when we first started in February 2020, we were specifically wanting to work with youth aging out of foster care.
Wow. I really love that you're doing that. It helps a lot of youth. For question 2, how do you prioritize and address the individual needs of each youth?
You know, that's tough because that can take some time. We attempt to prioritize the youth's needs by getting to know them and hearing what they're saying they need instead of us making assumptions or trying to inundate them with all the different things we can help with. Our goal is hearing what the young people are saying that they are needing.
That's really awesome. I really appreciate how you take the time and the knowledge to address everyone's most needs and also what they really need the most by building a connection, but also not assuming just by looking at them. I really love that. For question 3, what I have down is, are there specific mental health challenges that are prevalent among homeless youth?
We have found over the years that this consistent mention that young people have related to mental health, they refer to having anxiety. It seems to be almost a catch-all phrase for a lot of young people because as we get to know them, different terms come out and different experiences become more prevalent. So what we found is young people mention having a struggle with anxiety. And over time, we realized that anxiety is the word they use to cover different experiences they have.
Yeah, most definitely. I also agree, coming from personal experience, anxiety does stop a lot of things. It doesn't feel like you're real half of the time. It also makes you zone out. You don't feel like you're really connected. And also, I would say depression is really a major one. I'm trying to pursue to get help, but it's also feeling the need of like hopelessness and also feeling there's no help around. But I would say that is the main one, but also PTSD can cause a lot of emotions and anger and resentment.
It's the feeling they have in their nervous system that causes what most people describe as anxiety, stems from what you're talking about.
It's really sad. For question 4, how do you handle setbacks or a difficult situation?
Each young person is so different, and we have to be the calming in the situation when a young person is struggling with setbacks or maybe reactive or maybe shut down. Them coming to our drop-in space and us taking the time to calm and just breathe. We make sure that they have food and just a space where they can come and process their setbacks, as well as seek help to get other agencies involved and wrap around those services to help youth who are struggling with whatever disappointment or whatever setback that they experience. But as far as our organization, are you talking about our organization or youth setbacks?
It can be combined with both. Like you
Okay.
can talk.
Okay. And there's times where we're working with a young person and we experience those setbacks with them, or they come in and let us know their struggles. And it can be, of course, disappointing for us to see a young person feeling the sadness or the anger with their setbacks. And as Oak Tree, the staff at Oak Tree does our best to just take some steps backwards and say, with the youth, and say, okay, how can we move forward? This is just a part of their experience. Let's not give up. Let's work through this setback.
I really love what you said. Coming from me personally and coming to Oak Tree, I totally agree because at first I did have setbacks. I felt alone, but along going through my journey and having someone there, a mentor and a leader, made me come out of a difficult situation and realizing there is light by the end of the tunnel. And also, I really do agree with building a bond, not jumping to questions. It's just like letting them know that you're there for them and also supporting them in the needs that they need. And it's just over time, you build that trust and that connection where it just goes on and they build a great life for themselves. So I really love the way you answered that. Thanks.
And bringing that around to your question about setbacks, because we've developed relationships with, young people as they come in, they do feel safe coming in and saying, this sucks, this happened, whatever happened, and even to the extremes, really personal situations.
Yeah,
And so I think you're right that the key to so much is building a relationship and building trust.
exactly. And I totally agree with that, especially when you go into mom mode, Carrie.
Right?
And it's just
I
like,
work hard not to.
yeah, no, like, it's just like when kids have that, like, figure, like, when you act into mom mode, they're like, oh, like, Carrie's like a parent to me. Like, that's how I am coming to Carrie is she's like a mom figure, how I see it. And it's just that mentor where I'm like, okay, I can confide in Carrie because I trust her because we have that strong bond over time. So I really love that. The another question I have written down is how can the community best support the work you're doing?
I think it's really key that community is educated, whether that's coming from us taking opportunity, especially during Homeless Youth Awareness Month coming up in November. We want to help people understand, obviously, knowledge is power, and them educating themselves as well as us having the opportunity to pass on information is key. Young people get stereotyped very quickly by adults who just don't have the knowledge. And so our goal is during November to help the community understand they need to know these young people are our future. Well, they are our community members and our future leaders. Another way the community can best support us is obviously donating. That's always key on keeping organizations going, whether it be a monthly donation. Small monthly donations pay the bills. It helps us buy toilet paper. We have a lot of young people coming here for supplies for our clothes closet and cleaning supplies and snacks and such. But it also them telling their friends so that the word gets out. Hey, you can donate in even the smallest way. And it makes a difference for the young people and it makes a difference keeping our youth drop-in space available for young people.
I really love that. And I totally agree with what you said on having to get the community together to understand the meaning of Homeless Youth Awareness Month because the future does rely on us. This generation does rely on what we are and how we do that and how we change the world. So I totally agree with how you're saying is getting the word out of having to be like, hey, this is a major thing that's in the world that maybe none of you guys know, or, just letting them know, like, if we do this as a team, we could change the world. So I love that.
And yeah, young people being empowered by the community members, them being viewed different, whether they're unhoused, at risk of being unhoused. I think most people have a understanding nowadays how quickly things can turn and maybe somebody being unemployed. But putting that into the thought of, wow, this affects my children, this affects my children's friends, and how quickly someone can be at risk. We started February of 2020, not knowing the pandemic was upon us, and have kind of flown under the radar for our first few years, housing young people and supporting young people coming out of incarceration. And there was just a tremendous need for young people needing support. And so I feel that because of that slow start, word is just getting out into the community, adults, that we exist. A lot of high schoolers know about us, college students know about us, youth community members know about us. But those that can financially support and come alongside and volunteer with us, that adult population, if you will, is just starting to hear about us over the last year.
Yeah. I'm really proud that we're doing this and just getting the word out and sharing the information that this is really important. And I really love how everything is coming along, especially the details of how you want to share the word and everything. So thank you.
Yeah. We had a meeting recently with the public health department here in La Plata County and bringing in other agencies that are going to be available to support young people here at our drop-in location so that young people don't have to go and really to that much effort to get to an appointment or get to a different agency. We're getting more opportunities to have other agencies participate with us. Another one of those is young people in recovery. Young people in recovery is really all ages, and we've had a standing meeting in Durango for a couple of years, but just this last year have created an opportunity for it to be a true young people in recovery, youth support, ages 14 to 22, where they come. We always have food and they have a topic, but it's a safe space for a young person to get that not only community support, but specifically related to recovery, or sometimes a young person is coming because a partner or a family member is in recovery. So it's another opportunity for community to find out, hey, we've got other
Yeah.
activities going on here.
Oh my God. I love that, especially with the La Plata County Health Department coming here. And I totally agree with having, the weather changing and everything. It can just be something easy just to come right the main trolley down here. Just be like, hey, I come need a checkup. I just want to make sure my body's healthy and everything. So I really love that, especially youth in recovery. This is so awesome. I love the services you're providing and just making it grow. So this is awesome, amazing. Well, before me and Carrie discuss introducing a youth with lived experience, so here I have Matthew. Feel free to introduce yourself. What are some things you enjoy and what are you passionate about?
Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm 20 years old. Things I like to do is honestly I enjoy working and playing basketball. I love basketball. I'm a little shorter though. Like I'm like 5'5", 20 years old, playing basketball, but I still enjoy doing it. I actually like arts and crafts, and when I'm in the good headspace to be able to just sit there and focus on little tiny lines, like don't color outside of the lines. And yeah, I like to do that. I enjoy cooking also. Cooking is definitely one of the things that I like to do on my free time.
How long have you been playing basketball?
Since I can remember, like I started out in elementary doing like recess basketball, and then I just do it for like the fun of it, but I'm pretty good at like my handles. Like I like to work on my crossovers and behind the backs, and
I've been playing basketball since elementary too, so this is
Challenge
right.
accepted.
This is awesome.
I'll wreck you.
Okay, Matthew. Earth. So for the next question I have down is, what gives you strength or comfort when things get difficult?
It's a hard one for me, but honestly, like when I'm by myself or things get hard, I just think of like the concept of sort of like my building my own family, like in like 5 or 10 years from now when I'm even better and on my feet. Just like the thought of having my own family and knowing that when I start to like have my own family, that family members will also be there for me. I don't know. It just always it keeps me going. I guess you could say, especially in the hard times, and it can get rough in the streets, especially. But like you just gotta like remember that there's people there for you. I'd definitely say that's one thing that
I really like that. I really like how you want to build a life for yourself and make it better than like what's already going on right now. And I totally agree with you on that. The next question I have written down is, what has Oak Tree Youth Resources slash services and familiar places helped you in Colorado?
So Carrie and Oak Tree Youth Resources have helped me in a lot of ways. When I first moved to Colorado, I was trying to have a relationship with my biological sister out here, and it wasn't going as planned because she wanted me to be more independent and go find work and be like figured out, you know? I didn't see like any youth resources or any resources places. Originally it was at the Hive. There's a little indoor ski park. So I'd go in there and shred it up in there. And she also helped me like when so when I was trying to finish high school, I dropped out my junior year. I had 16 credits as a sophomore though, and I dropped out my junior year because I just had too much going on with me being homeless and trying to figure out what to do with my life. So when I moved back here, I was like, I need to finish high school, and I only need to do 8 more credits. So found Carrie through a goal high school, and and I had a life skills coach. She reached out to Carrie. Hey, I got this kid here. He's not doing too well in school. I have faith in him. I believe that if you just give him like a place to sleep for a month, that he'll be able to figure it out. And Carrie and Oak Tree was able to help me out and get me in a hotel for a month. This is also like around Christmas time, the holidays. So it was kind of rough for me, but I just knew like as a man that I needed to go out and find work, and I also needed to use my voice to ask for help. And so Carrie was definitely able to help me with that. Another thing, I was working at the rec center and I get hungry at work sometimes because I would have food. So she was able to like find another resource place and be like, "Hey, will you be able to drop off food to one of my kiddos? He's hungry at work." And so they were able to do that for me, and that also helped me get through the work days. Here in this building, she has a closet and food and dinner space with bean bags that you just hang out on. So if you say like I'm out there, I'll be tempted to use drugs or go hang out with the wrong crowd. That's kind of why I'm like, oh, whenever this place opens, I just come by here and hang out. It keeps me away from getting in trouble.
And if we could backtrack, if you could talk about, like you stayed in the motel, but then you were working and able to transitional living program and get the apartment for a while.
She was also able to.
Well, not because you were working.
Yeah, I was working and I decided I was like, I think I'm ready to get my own apartment, and I didn't know how to look for apartments either because I wasn't taught that. Or I mean, I know you're supposed to already know, but it's hard when it's like, oh, I'm gonna live in this place. So she was able to help me find a nice apartment out here. Also with my housing, I paid a certain amount, and then she would pay another amount. And as long as I kept a job, then we just made that agreement.
I think you talking about how hard it really is, even if you're working and even if you have some rental support, it's just hard being a young person that, I mean, I'm glad we can help support. There's other agencies, but I think that loneliness part is important
Yeah.
for not just young people,
Like
but
there's
other
there's
community members to
Yeah.
understand.
just the presence that kind of understands is kind of all that I need sometimes.
Yeah.
Like how we'll just sit in here and just talk with you, like other resource places won't do that unless you have a case manager, and that's just kind of them like trying to figure out how to get you but like you actually like are like it's a deeper meaning because you actually like sympathize with your youth, and yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you for telling me about your lived experience and also sharing your hard times. And I want to say I'm proud of you for pursuing your goals, but also going through a difficult time.
You
There were moments where, coming from lived experience as well, where I was alone, like where I had no one to turn to. I was covered with thousands of people, but I had no one to confide in. And coming with the school as well, because my uncle did kick me out and I had nowhere to go. I was staying with a friend, and my counselor at the moment was, I know someone for you. And my teacher was letting me know, like, as long as you're comfortable, that's totally fine. I'll just send her your information. And then that's when I met Carie, one on one in person, told her about my situation of what I was going through. And it was hard, And I was put in a motel too. It's like that motive of when you're alone, you're like, oh, I have this hotel to myself, I can do whatever I want. But like, I'm an adult, like, I had to realize, okay, well, I have to finish high school. I know it's not gonna be easy. I like having to get up every day and pursuing a goal that's gonna take a while, but if you push toward it, by the end of the day, you're gonna have something great holding on it. And I really wanna say thank you, Carie, for all your support and your help, and just what you do is awesome. And I wanna say I'm proud of you.
Thanks. I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah, like, and then one other thing, just putting it out there is like, well, I've been homeless since I was like 16, basically like couch surfing, sleeping in basements on dirty couches and on the floor. And, and it's just like every day, no one gets me up and I got to get myself up. It's always a challenge, but it's like, you got to push yourself. If you want what you want in life, you have to push yourself to get there.
Is there any advice for any youth experienced homelessness that you would like to say?
It's a simple one. Stay away from the drugs because I chose drugs over my own family, and it slowed me down in the brain. Makes it harder for me to build relationships with people. Always choose your family over the drugs or the vape. It's just like it's real love out there in life, and you don't gotta resort to a drug to make you feel good, or when you can just turn to like real people or resources like Carie, yeah, who will actually have your back and like talk you through it. Like, stay away from drugs.
Really, I really like that one. Thank you. Thank you for being here and just sharing your lived experience, even taking your time. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you also.
The next question I have down is, what are the programs or approaches you think are especially effective in reducing youth homelessness?
I believe that that's a tough question because there are not many opportunities for young people that are under age 18 to participate in programs. Oak Tree has emergency apartments that allow a young person a place to be and housed quickly as we work with getting them back home or involved with child welfare if that's the need. But those apartments consistently are full. So that program of the basic center program is the basic center program can help young people under 18, but it is not an opportunity in La Plata County for a shelter. We do not have a specific shelter in place. So it is a program that can help meet immediate needs, food, hygiene products, some clothing, and we walk alongside to figure out, are they safe at home? Do they need child welfare involvement? Can we help keep them in school? So that program is beneficial yet limited in Southwest Colorado because we don't have a shelter. Our street outreach program, which is for young people 18 to I think it's 21, gives the opportunity for young people to come here to our drop-in space, or we can meet them where they are, and another opportunity for emergent supplies and how can we assist and figure out how we can support. But again, it does not have the housing component to give them a place with a roof over their head that they can call their own. We do have a local adult shelter in our community that stays pretty full. So we have to get creative. Sometimes motels are involved, but that's just not a permanent answer. So a lot of funding needs to be given to organizations that are trying to create housing. Of course, we know that that's millions of dollars and very difficult to do. But with the understanding that young people experiencing homelessness at a young age are our future, or potentially our future adult homeless population, I'm not saying our young people that are at risk of homelessness or already homeless are potentially our adult homeless population. Well, if we don't have the preventative aspect where we can help with mental health, we can help with emergency situations, the homeless adult population is going to just keep growing. There has to be a solution related to housing, whether that be that emergency shelter or youth transitional housing, where an apartment complex is only for young people under 25 that need those supportive services. So all of it comes down to money. And unfortunately, in Southwest Colorado, the locations to create a space are limited because of our rural areas. So it's just which comes first? Do we need to build more housing and it be specifically for young people, or do we need more shelters?
I really love that input and information you give out on emergency shelter, also transitioning or transitional living, because those are programs and they're really effective and they're really good to have. But I also agree having a shelter built for kids who are experiencing homelessness, because it's just like, okay, this kid needs a place to stay, but it's also like, this is my worry because we don't have a emergency shelter for youth built here. But it's like, you're okay, well, I have to go get an emergency shelter, which is in a hotel, and you have to consistently pay. But it's like, if this big building is built for youth who are experiencing homelessness, it's like this big thing that's really important that can help this whole community, but also the world as well, that there's multiple of them. Are like, hey, I know youth is safe, and I know I can just automatically place them there. But it's easy, like easy for you, but it's also really beneficial and helpful as well.
And understanding that young people under 18 can't be placed in a motel.
Yeah.
And the majority of the population we work with is 17 to 21. So that 17-year-old kind of falls through the cracks. They'll couch surf, or they'll hang on and live in a place that maybe isn't the safest for them until they turn 18. Our emergency apartments that we have available stay full, and it's almost always a 17-year-old who's finishing high school. We can house a 17-year-old through a host home program. We also are looking to develop that host home program where someone maybe that has a bedroom that they are willing to allow a young person to stay in for, up to 6 months. We can provide some rental support if they're willing to work with us and help us support that youth with food and with the shelter. just giving a young person a safe place to be. The reality of drug use is pretty common, or substance use, when you have a young person that's having struggles and they're tired, and maybe they just don't want to feel the pain anymore. Or possibly they start hanging with people that get them using substances. Trafficking is a real thing. We've worked with some young people who were trafficked because of their unhoused situation. They were at risk, and there are predators out there who come alongside a young person in a way that appears that they're helping and convinces a youth, oh, you can stay at my place. Yeah, I won't charge you. Yeah, everything's pretty chill here. And trafficking happens. I mean, we've encountered that youth. And so the safety aspect is huge. So, programs are important. That term, covers a multitude of things, but really we're just really trying to meet a young person where they're at, and where can we help. And we do work with child welfare. Some people, are concerned about that because foster care can have such a stigma. But there are young people who literally just need a safe place to be.
Yeah.
They're under 18, they have nowhere to go. And we have, in almost 5 years, we have 2 youth that we met who were homeless. Parents are gone for whatever reason they chose to leave. And both of those, well, actually 3 young people that went into foster care, and 2 of those situations have been extremely positive. And those young people were adopted by those families. It's not always the perfect scenario, but if the young people are safe, if they're, able to continue to attend school and walk more slowly into adulthood and just be able to be kids, it can be so positive in their life experience.
Most definitely.
Wow, I just chased rabbits.
That was great. I really love that. And especially I would say like the main ideas or the word is safety. Like just having youth be in a safe home and in place. Like they're okay, like don't be afraid, like let them know that they're loved and they're cared for. And like safety is the main.
Safe and healthy.
Yeah, like safe and healthy.
Yeah.
Most definitely. What do you think is the biggest misconception about youth homelessness?
My experience has been that in people that are usually older, I would say 60 and up, think these young people all just do drugs. Well, if they would stop doing drugs and they would just get a job, everything would be fine. Stop using drugs and stay in school. I have to say that it's definitely that older generation. Underneath, a younger generation seems to have the attitude that young people just need to go to school, go to work. That'll solve their problems. They just need to work. When I was your age, I had 2 jobs. That not seeing a young person for who they are, and also not understanding this generation of young people are different than our generation. I'm close to 60, and it's easy for me to think how my experience was and how I was raised, and easily go back into that mentality. And I have to remind myself, your generation is so much different. I think we do that as we age. We forget sometimes that every generation is different. I believe that the biggest misconception is they think young people are using drugs and alcohol, abusing those, and are lazy. That problems can be solved by not being lazy and just getting up and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and
Yeah.
working, and no matter how you feel.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. And I would say that as the generation, change and over time, the laws as well, older people think that, oh, well, I got up and did this and that. And I was like, well, when you think about it, in the 2000s, everything changed, the laws, everything. And it's just like, you have to kind of step outside the box and, have to learn these things because they're not aware. But it's also like, never judge anyone from what they're coming from. And, just because we're young doesn't mean we're living best, healthy lives. And just because we have this awesome technology and awesome everything doesn't mean that we're happy, And I totally agree. Like, not all sunshine and rainbow.
Well, I feel like I'm 58, and I think probably really around my generation and older for sure, did not understand that their mental health was an important part of their existence. We did not have the freedom, or it was not acceptable to talk about the struggles you're having or in depression. Those things were swept under the rug. And again, you just go to work, you go to school, you just push yourself through and persevere. Okay, well, perseverance is important. All those things are important, but these generations struggle with mental health just as much as younger generations. What I appreciate about the young people that we are encountering is they're pretty clear on these are the things I'm struggling with. Yes, I have had these things happen. Yes, I've had trauma. Whether they share in depth or not, the point is they can name it and value that can be roadblocks in my life. And I think that is a misconception that the older generations have, is it's not a bad thing to be able to say, I'm having anxiety and here's why.
I also agree, and it's just you're being honest, and I really appreciate what you're saying and just your honesty.
Well, and how can we get help as humans if we're not,
Yeah,
understanding or able to be real with, maybe a provider or therapist that can help us dig deeper to get to maybe the next step we want to get to. We have to be real about it.
exactly. 100% comprehend with what you said. And the last question I have down is, could you describe Ultra Youth Resources, what you provide, and also your services?
Yes. So when we started, we were very focused on housing, definitely bringing other supports. And in the first couple of years, that was our main point, was housing first model. As we've transitioned into creating our drop-in space over the last 3 years, we still assist with housing and helping young people with rental support and deposit support. But we also have the opportunity to do so much more, having a central location in Durango where the young person can come in and let us know the kind of things they need help with, such as maybe getting a copy of their ID or birth certificate. Maybe they just need something to eat today. Maybe they need some clothing. We have a shower available. We have free washer and dryer available. So young people can come in here and let us know that they need support, or they can come in here and just hang out, play ping pong, just chill. And as they start feeling more comfortable, possibly tell us more about what they need. Our programs vary depending on age, under 18 versus over 18, but they all pretty much do the same thing, is trying to get to know a young person and meet them where they are and provide whatever support we're able to, and find other resources that can provide support as well.
Mm, that is awesome. That is fantastic. I love that you provide everything and also the programs and get them all together, but it's also having them like easy access. Like, hey, I want to let you know we have everything here, feel free. But also over time, once you feel that you're comfortable enough, let us know like if there's any way we could help you, support you, because we're here, make you feel supported, but also like
You're loved, you're cared for.
and I really love that. This is just fantastic.
One way Oak Tree was able to forward our mission is we discovered an organization called the Rural Collaborative for Runaway and Homeless Youth, and becoming a representative agency in Southwest Colorado for the Rural Collaborative gave us the opportunity to work with programs that were already developed. We did not have to create anything new. They have the data collection, they have the intake process. So it gave us the chance to really just hit the ground running with opportunities to specifically collecting that data to show improve the need in Southwest Colorado.
Awesome. I really love that the World Collaborative helped you, but also valued you like, hey, this is the information we have, and here's to share it with you, but it's also like to grow together and combine, and also making a wonderful change in the community, and also, to stay in the world. Thank you for sharing your time, but also sharing the good information. Just being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.